Welcome to the Street Feens podcast, everybody. I'm super stoked today. We got the man Rapid from the Kansas City Pioneers, RLCS competitor. He's out of his mind, making plays left and right, all over the stat sheet, and it's a pleasure to have you, man. Welcome.
Yo, what's up? What's up?
I was not expecting your voice to be out when you joined the call, dude. This shit was crazy.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yeah. We're joined by Z. You already know Z's the homie. He's here all the time with us. Y'all love Z. Z, I know I said
Do
that.
you?
Yes.
Do you?
Yes. I know I said before we started that I want to start it, but I'm gonna let you go. You can go ahead first. You can crack the ice.
Well, see, like I originally, because obviously I already knew that Rapid's voice was going to be deep because I popped into a couple of his streams and so on and so forth. But you kind of confirmed the question that like the very first question that I was going to ask was like how many people when they first meet you say something along the lines of "Holy shit, your voice is deep." But seeing as how that's literally exactly what Former said when he met you, I'm gonna take it as a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Definitely a lot.
I was so taken back. Did you bust it up? And he's like, "Yo, it's like, yo, Z, I think you woke up on the wrong side today, buddy." I looked at my screen. I was like, "Oh, that's not Z." I was like, "He's in here already." All right, so.
Oh.
We ask every single person this that comes on the podcast. We've asked each other this when we do episodes with each other, and it goes all the way back to gaming. When you first started gaming, your first exposure to gaming, like whether it be with a family member, a parent, with like your first console, etc. Dude, have at it.
So I started probably gaming like super young, probably like 4. Like my neighbors had. It was probably a bad idea, but my neighbors had like a regular Xbox at the time, and they were playing GTA San Andreas. I was like,
there it is.
Yeah, it was probably like my first time actually like playing a game, like just anything. I'd go over to his house and like they'd be playing GTA, and I'd just play with them.
That's the dude. I had GTA when I was 11. When I was 11, and I got it from my father, and my mother was not a fan, but she didn't know. But she knew I wanted the game.
Same.
I would have to eject the disc out of the game and then put it in the game case and hide it like in my bed was in the corner. I would hide it under my bed in the far back corner. I remembered it every single time I was done playing, and I couldn't play it until 11 o'clock when she was asleep. Oh man, that is great times. It's crazy you're playing it at 4 years old.
I probably didn't really know what I was doing. I just know that I played it at my friend's house.
That's so funny. So you progress from Grand Theft Auto into what? What was the next stage? What was your first console, your own console?
My first own console was just the regular Xbox, and then I got a PlayStation like 2, like when I was probably like 6, 7, 8. But like my first actual game, like that was like not really. I didn't play competitive, but like could be competitive or that I was pretty good at was Halo. Like
Okay.
I started playing Halo like when I was really young. So yeah, play that game.
You played would you say you played like a lot of Halo, or like was it time consuming? Because the last person we talked about, I think, was it Z that talked about playing Halo like extensive amount?
I thought that was Tommy.
Tommy, that's who it was. You're right. Tommy, we have a member of Stream Feens who plays it, I guess not anymore because of new Call of Duty and stuff, but
He's gonna play it as soon as it comes out.
To an extensive amount. Was it like that, or was it just kind of like playing here and there? Because I know there's some people that like full on crack into gaming, and then there's people that ease into it.
Yeah, I kind of like. It was probably eased in, like you know what I mean. It was Halo 3, Halo 2, on the regular Xbox. I didn't go too hard, but kind of played a little bit.
I feel you.
Halo 3 was the grind.
Yes,
it was the grindiest grind ever, man. I remember coming home from school and like literally going over to my friend Terry's house like almost every single day and going and playing it, and then going over to my house and playing it on my Xbox so we could get achievements on there, and then going back and forth.
It is a grind for sure.
Yo, Z, have at it, brother. We got.
I'm kind of debating on like if we want to get into like the nitty gritty of like the whole esports thing just yet. So I think we're gonna just keep going with like life questions for the time being. I guess like other than Rocket League, like what right now has been catching your interest the most? You know, like I know that like when I was in Genesis Extreme, like you guys were playing not Phasmophobia, it's that other one that you get
Pacify.
you there we go.
Yeah.
You dude, he was screaming like a little girl. Anyway.
Yeah.
Jenny's gonna watch this and he's gonna be like, that jerk. But is there like any other game out like well, I guess to preface this, how much time do you really have to do other games outside of Rocket League?
See, a lot of pros, like I really don't play too many other games like other than Rocket League. I mean, I go through periods where like I don't get bored of Rocket League. I'm just like on my free time, like, you know what? Why don't I play like some CS or like Valorant? You know, like I'd say
Yeah.
those two games are like the main games that I, played. I went through a stage where I like grinded COD for a little bit and then Valorant. I just kind of do in stages, I guess, whatever I'm feeling.
I feel
That's
you.
fair.
What are you thinking about
Yeah.
this? What are you thinking about this new Call of Duty? Did you pick it up? You were very busy the last 2 days, so I assume Call of Duty wasn't necessarily your first interest.
Yeah, no, I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm definitely going to eventually.
All right, word up. Well, let me drop
Yeah.
this little. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I don't know if you're a campaign fan. Call of Duty for me was always like the second you get that Call of Duty, you don't touch anything until you finish the campaign. Fantastic campaign,
opposite.
dude.
I am opposite as well.
there's
I
like
will never touch the
Dude,
I've never done a
okay.
campaign other than World at War. Never ever. I cannot do campaigns. I just
Dude,
go straight to multiplayer.
This one's different,
Yes.
I promise. There's like 6 different endings. How your choices depict the ending. It's a great time, all right? And it's good. You stream. It's great for your community. I'm
Yeah.
telling you. The fact that they get to like help you pick your decisions and stuff, I highly recommend it. Do your thing, man. But that's crazy. Damn, so I'm really curious, right? Your parents throughout this, what do they think about? I'm sure you play a lot of games. There's no way you couldn't and compete at your level, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do your parents think about how much you play the games and what you've made of it? And I know a lot of parents, especially these day and age, when it comes to streaming and competing, they can't really wrap their heads around it. You know what I mean? It's hard because they grew up in a different era and they had different things to
Yeah.
do when they were growing up. What do they think? Do they are they backing you?
Yeah, so I mean, they're kind of generic parents, like in the beginning, like kind of saying like like the parents who don't really know what you're doing, like they're kind of like, I mean, they didn't really understand. They probably like in the beginning thought I was doing something illegal because they're wondering how I'm getting money coming in. So yeah, no, it was like once I was able to like, oh shoot, like I don't actually have a job and I'm able to buy like a pizza, right? Like just like, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Little
They
things.
started then, yeah,
I
little
get it, I
things
get
in the
it, I get it.
beginning. Yeah, and then it started, to turn into, or now, oh shoot, like I can make a living, and then they started like, oh shoot, like this can actually be his like, job.
That's crazy.
So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So do they watch you? Do they ever like get together or like like game case here? Like, do they do that at all? Is there anything like that?
Yeah, actually. Sometimes I don't want them to, but other times like it's when I made RLCS like the first time, like I remember just like so hype. I ran upstairs and I just see the TV on. They're watching and they're hyped too, like because they came to LANs with me as well. So like
Oh, nice.
they were
seeing you play on that stage was probably pretty freaking lit, huh?
yeah, it was, and they get like they get super nervous. Like I know my mom gets super nervous like watching and like I'll have to like close her eyes. I don't know, stuff like that. Yeah, so they definitely
awesome.
do watch.
I get chills thinking about it. I really, really do. It's crazy to me, dude. Like, cause there's like the closest thing I've ever got to like competitive gaming was Blackout, like the battle royale for Black Ops 4, right? So that was the closest thing like I've ever competed in, and it was like the thought of competing on like that level is like it's crazy, dude. Do you can you oh, dude, it's so hard not to jump right on into you know what I'm talking about, Z? It's
Yeah,
so,
no, I know.
Dude, it's so hard not to. But I don't want to pelt him with Rocket League questions the whole time. Go ahead, Z. I'm hoping you got some.
I was gonna say like piggybacking off of like the whole conversation with like your parents and everything. Like if you weren't professional Rocket League player or even streaming or anything like that, like no hand in content creation or actual like competitive, like would you foresee yourself like going to college and doing all of that stuff, or do you think that you would just be like still on that grind? You know what I mean?
See, I'm like one of those people to where like I didn't see anything different. Like I saw this like happening, you know? Like I
Hmm.
didn't see other like any other outcome. Like this is what I like imagined, pictured, grind for, and like it was like the only outcome. Like I guess if I didn't like, you know, compete or do content, I would probably be doing something like with music, probably going to college like for some
Oh,
type of
gotcha.
producing, something like that.
So you have like a very like music based background.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Do you like do or like make any of your own music?
Yeah, like I just started, but like I could always play piano and stuff like that. Like I've been playing piano since like I don't know, like third grade, I guess. So like years now. But
Waiting for the
yeah.
sound clips, man. Waiting for the sound
I'm
clips.
waiting for
I
the
actually
sound.
have one on Twitter.
Oh yes. Oh,
Oh,
you
I didn't
bet.
see
Yeah.
that when I was creeping on you.
Yeah.
The only thing that I saw was the Optimus Prime. Why
Oh.
the Optimus Prime?
Okay. All right. All right. So I honestly don't know why I have it, but I remember finding it somewhere. I just thought it was the funniest thing like ever. So then I just like I don't know, I just made it like a meme, and every post that I started a post on, I just post Optimus just dancing. I don't know, just like
Gotcha. Because
just
like as for me, like pretty much growing up and everything, like my brother grew up with like the original animated cartoon of
mhm.
Transformers and everything. So like Transformers has been in my life for like the longest time. And when I saw that, I was like, "Oh my god, is Rapid a Transformer like enthusiast like me?" I don't know. I was just really confused by it. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that video.
It's a good video.
Yeah, it's my favorite video.
I
And that like it's one of those videos too where like you could sync it up with literally any music and it will
Mhm.
always perfectly dance to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um I have a question. I don't
Yeah.
know if this is Genesis's touch, right?
Uh-huh.
Genesix, if you guys watching don't know, the designer for Stream Fiends, but he's also the designer for Kansas City Pioneers. That's how we got in contact with Rapid. So shout out Genesix. I'm very thankful for everything that happened. Correct
Yeah,
me if I'm wrong.
Jenny.
Facts. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is there a little Bill sitting in the octane of your banner on Twitter?
It's not a little Bill, okay? It's actually the guy from Magic School Bus.
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Is that Genesix's doing, or was there something behind the scenes that you were like, we need to slip this in here somehow without
No,
people
it was definitely his doing. I didn't even know until like
knowing?
you had to
Until his
zoom in
post.
on it. Yeah, you had to zoom in on it, and it was like sitting in the car. Yeah.
So let me ask you
Oh, that's
this.
so good.
Say he doesn't watch it secretly. Do you like that he did that, or do you dislike it?
No, I think I like it. I think it's funny. I think it's
I
great.
think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
Here's
I
the
think
thing:
it's so funny.
when he tweeted out the picture of the design and zoomed in on it and showed people, right? But two things: one, if he never did that, I almost think it would have been better. No one would have ever known, and it would have been
Yeah,
so funny. If he just told you behind the scenes, but no one else, that would have been hilarious.
that would have been so funny.
Two, I thought it was a joke. Like I clicked on the picture, I was like, surely there's no way this is actually what he did. And
What's there?
I went to your Twitter and I'm sitting there on my cell phone on the couch. I'm like, it's there. That's so
Yeah,
funny, dude.
yeah. No, it's so funny.
That's so funny.
Uh,
Dude. Oh, how'd you get the name Rapid? Where did Rapid come from?
All right. See, I don't really have a cool story like most people. You know, like I kind of just I don't know. I was like, just wanted a name. I don't know. I really just was like, oh, what sounds cool? I'm like, oh, okay, Rapid, sure. It's kind of simple.
That's it.
Not really anything.
There was okay.
Yeah, not really,
I
not
was
really anything
expecting
cool.
like something crazy, man. Like
So let me
Nothing cool.
let me ask you this: was there was like not a single bit of inspiration when the name Rapid hit you?
Nope.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a, like just like what sounds cool. All right, Rapid.
yeah,
Something like that.
I was dead ass like expecting like you know, while I was beginning to compete in Rocket League, like I was, you know, finishing my miles for track and field in like under
Nope.
3 minutes. It's
Track
like
and field, this
so,
motherfucker. He's 6'10". He was playing basketball, dude.
bro, he would have been pacey though.
That's
Long
so
legs,
funny,
dude.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That is so funny.
No cool story.
You should just roll with it.
Go
Just
ahead.
make up a story and just like literally just use it, man.
Yeah.
You gotta come up with some like hard as shit to believe story. People will just believe you. It's just
No,
how it
yeah.
works.
That's what I would do with when people like would see me and be like, "Yo, you play basketball?" And I would be like, "Nah, I play field hockey." Like I just change up the sport.
Field hockey.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So going back to like the whole voice and everything, like has there ever been a moment where you're like just outgoing, like say you go to the mall or something like that and you go to go and freaking buy like a t-shirt or something, obviously pre-COVID because COVID just like screwed all that up. But um like how many times, if any, like have you been recognized like out and about? Like is that more of a common thing than,
Well,
like that I expect? I don't know.
Has it happened yet at all?
I mean, there was probably like one time, but it's usually like at like gaming places, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like maybe not necessarily like just I've been like recognized at like gaming places, but not really like just around, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gotcha.
actually, I got a pretty funny story. Actually, I did get recognized. So my
Oh, no.
friends,
Have at
it was actually my friends in school had no clue who I was like in Rocket League. They just like knew the name, right? And then I remember one time they were talking about like, oh shoot, like I could easily beat you in Rocket League, right? And then I'm like, yo, all right, let's play, let's play. And then like I get in the lobby, they're wait, you're Rapid? Like they knew who I was, but they didn't know like that was me. So yeah, it was kind of funny story how that happened.
You get those people, dude. Okay, listen, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, you go through school and there's these people talking about the video game like you love playing 3 tables aside of you at lunch, right? And they're talking all this shit, and you're like, I would totally,
yeah,
and absolutely demolish them.
Yup. That's
so
how it
funny.
always went. That's how it always went. Yeah.
That's how it is, dude. It's so funny. It's hard not to bring it up, dude. So I think we should just dive into it. I think we could take up 40 minutes just talking about it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Let's do it. All right. So the you know what's up. If it gets too much and you want us to change topics, do not be afraid to say something. But there's gonna be a lot of Rocket League in the next good couple minutes.
Sounds good.
We'll start with this. When you started playing Rocket League and you got picked up by a team, you got picked up by Team RBG, correct? How did that come about, and what was your experience like with them? And how did that progress into Kansas City Pioneers?
Okay, so originally, like, I was on another team a little bit before that was in like the league before, or like the league below RLCS.
Is that the Contender League? Is that what that is?
Yeah. It was it was me, Vincent Halcyon, as my first ever team. I always would like had this like weird like thing where I was like, I'm not gonna play until I know that I'll make it in, right? So that team kind of just gave me the spot. And the next season I joined RBG, which was a different team than when we made RLCS with. It was a season before that season, and it was me, Aeon, and Astro. And going through like the league is probably like the RLRS is probably one of the hardest things. Like it has nothing to really do with skill, but rather who you play with and how much they decide to play the game. Like I feel like especially in Rocket League, like since it's such a young game, no one really understands how to actually like excel, and get to that point. They all kind of just do whatever, play Rocket League, play COD, play CS. No one really grinds. And it's hard to get people who are like good enough and grind. There's usually like the people who grind but aren't good enough, or like, there's only two. You never really can get both. And and that's probably like the hardest thing, that's the hardest thing. And when we made a roster change for Astro to get Seabass, and that season I think that was probably the first season I actually had 2 people who grind the game and were good enough. So we ended up making it out and making an RLCS, and then it ended up turning into like just a whole cluster of like, having to be able to contend at the highest level. Once we finally made it, it was like, all right, so what do we think will get us to that, next point, where then we added memory to our roster, and then it kind of just whole long story of like up and downs with like mentality of the game and stuff like that was hard to deal with in RLCS. But then we made one more change and got me beast mode memory, and now we're kind of at this point. So yeah,
That's crazy. it's crazy to hear how, you know what I mean, like you progress through times, because it wasn't that long ago that things were like that, and now look at where you're at now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy how like fast things can change. Like you'll sit there and sit there and sit there not making much progress, and then when you get a little ounce of it, it's like a ball of snow rolling down a mountain of snow. It
Yeah.
just keeps going.
Yeah, yeah.
Z, go ahead, brother. Have at it, man.
So I guess let me I'm trying to think of the way that I could like bring it into the conversation a little bit. Like I guess when it comes to just gaming as a whole, you know, it has very much like this competitive nature to it. So like for me, for instance, we talked a little bit about it like last podcast. Like I used to do the game battles like for Call of
Hmm.
Duty and stuff. So like if I go like if I went and played a match and then beat like the other team and everything, and I would see somebody from that roster like on another team just in a matchmaking, like I would be talking so much crap to them. Like, does that extend to the like I obviously the whole diamond and champion like divisions of Rocket League are drastically different than Grand Champ because pretty much no one ever quick chats. But if
Hmm.
you're in those other ones, like people are spamming what a save and nice shot and all this other stuff when it's not actually happening, like not like it's bad.
Hmm.
Um, do you ever like see is there really anybody that like goes and takes it a step further for the competitive nature of like Rocket League when it comes to those higher divisions, or is it really just like a cap off at like I want to say around like Champ 2 is really where you see it start dying out.
Like, are you talking
Um
about like toxicity, like in the higher ranks?
yeah, yeah, like not only that, but like for instance like you know, you go and like I'm just gonna pull a name out of the hat, like Kronovi. You go and play you go and play against him in the RLCS, and then you're going and just queuing up for duos or threes or whatever, just regular ranked. If you see him and like say you had a really good game against him or whatever, would you see like a very competitive nature bouncing off of that RLCS win, or would it be more of just like a leave it as is kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
don't know really how to explain it other than that. It's like a really bizarre question, but I think like the competitive mindset of it, like I just wanted to like touch on a little bit.
Yeah. Probably just to leave it as is, you know? Like, are you talking about like keeping the competitiveness from that one game you played into like ranked and stuff like that? Is that what you're talking about? Like, how is
Yeah, I guess yeah, like not only just like ranked, but also
in
like
general?
say scrims. Yeah, in general. There you go. Like if you went into like, would you go out of your way to go and play like another game if he like randomly hit you up and was like, hey, you got time? You want to go and freaking play Phasmophobia or Call of Duty or something like that? Would you go out and like actually play with him, or would you just kind of like let it be kind of thing? Or
See, okay. It really depends who the person is. Okay. It really
gotcha.
depends because I feel like there was like really Rocket League isn't that competitive in that sense, meaning as in like, I mean, it's competitive, but not like in that sense. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people they lose, but there's some teams in RLCS who like take it super differently, where it's like they're just like it's like because Rocket League is so like I guess like not really toxic, I guess, in competitive wise. You know what I mean? Like they're not
Hmm.
calling other people bad, like publicly at least, and doing that a lot. So it's
Gotcha.
like it doesn't really happen that much, where you're like, oh shoot, like it's competitive even when we're not like playing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of like, oh, we lost. Okay, this happened. You know?
So what you're telling me is it's not like there's a clip that I always every single time that I like this question kind of pops up in my head. There was a clip from one of the Call of Duty World Championships or whatever, where there was some guy on the other team because obviously when you're at LAN you can see each other's teams, you know, like they're literally side by side.
Mhm.
So he's just like looking over towards them, just like screaming gibberish at them like the entire game. Like it's not like that. Like,
No,
there's not a
no.
single team out there that like
Mm-mm.
has that. Okay,
I wish. I think it would
well
be
that's
funny,
good.
but or fun, but like, yeah, no, there's no one like that in Rocket League.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just where I'm at and like the rank is obviously drastically different than where you are. Um, but man, it is out there. hard and fast around Diamond and Champ, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, they love spamming that quick chat.
Yeah, I know. I remember those days.
I got that shot turned off instantly.
Yeah, dude.
No way. When you started playing Rocket League, did you know right away that you wanted to compete, or was it something that, like, did you pick up the game where you like, okay, this is really fun. Eventually, I want to be at the top of the game, or was it like halfway through the game you realized you had the opportunity and you could be?
Yeah. So like, I mean, for me, it was like I came from playing COD, like super competitive. Like I played GBs, UMGs, you know what I mean? Like I played with some pros who are like pros now in COD, like back in the day.
Yep.
But like
Mhm.
when I first got Rocket League, I was kind of just like, I don't know. I just thought it, was fun. I was like, you know what? I want to learn how to like freestyle. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm one of those people who like I hate not being able to do what someone else is doing, right? So I'm looking at, I'm like,
Yeah.
how is he doing this? Like, I want to be able to do the same thing. So like, I just started grinding, trying to be able to like do like freestyle like Jazer because he was super big at the time where I started playing. Like I was like, how is he doing these? And I would like watch his tutorials, and I just started like grinding and grinding and grinding, and then I got to the point where I was like super good, and then I was like, oh, I can actually like do something, like I can actually become pro. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
Quick segue. You're talking about Jazer and freestyling and stuff. I've seen multiple clips of you hitting nutty ass double touches and flip resets in like these high level games where people don't typically do. Like, to see a flip reset is very common, right? In pubs, like if you're at that level, you see it all the time. It is what it is. But to see it happen in a ranked like LAN huge RLCS tournament is like, it doesn't happen all the time. Is there something? Is there a? Oh man, there's no way for me to put this to understand it myself, other than to say, is there like a is there like a swank to it? You know what I mean? Like a swagger kind of thing. Like, I just did that like in this match. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, kind of, yeah. Like it's like I there's been some matches where I just hit like I'd be like, say to the casters, right? Like I did this all the time, like when I was in RLCS, or like now the casters call it a rapid reset, but like I'd be like, yeah, like, hey, third game, watch, I'm about to hit this shot, third game. Like I tell the casters it like that, so they call it out or whatever. But yeah, no, it definitely is. It definitely is.
On some Conor McGregor call out. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Z.
Oh my gosh. So, well, you were talking about obviously watching tutorials and everything. Like getting into the competitive nature, like the RLCS and everything. Like, well, I guess even before then, obviously, because you were already a pro player at that point. Was there like really anybody that you, I guess, watched religiously before becoming pro, like in order to like learn more about the game and everything? Like, obviously, I know you were talking about the freestyling and everything, but like just in general, like for me, I'll be like working on something and I'll always have a stream up, just whoever is on, pretty much. Is
Yeah,
that
I mean, for me, it was kind of like just freestylers. Like I really like in the
gotcha?
beginning, just really like practice freestyling, and then once I got my mechanics good enough, it was kind of just like I was like, if I was smarter, I could probably become pro because I have all the mechanics. So that's kind of all it was. I never really watched too many pros like when I played. Like I kind of like watched, Lachinio. Lachinio was probably like, he's retired now, but he was like on the team that won the first ever world championship, like with Kronovi and
Yep.
Overzero.
Yep.
And that was probably the only person I actually like watch. Like he was just like probably my favorite player, like ever, I guess. So yeah.
Are you a fan of the Pulse crew? Like, I'm talking about Vample, MK.
Yeah, I still really like watching people freestyle. I still think it's super cool. I just like, if I had the time or like the willpower to sit there and learn how to do everything that those guys do, like it's nuts. I honestly don't know how they're able to like reset the ball 100 times and just sit in the air with the ball. It's crazy. But
Pulse Vample. I don't know if any of you guys that are watching like know, but you need to go look that up. The things he does in like private matches where he just casually like, oh man, what he hit? He hit he did it in a pubs. I think he was playing solos. He hit like an 8 flip reset.
yeah,
On
it's
some dude.
crazy. It's crazy.
It's like not okay. I can't
it's
do one.
crazy.
I'm like, I can't, buddy. Yeah. No, that card control is insane. So Z kind of touched about it a little bit, but I'm gonna elaborate on his question a little more. Do you have any favorite players currently? I know you said freestylers, but when it comes to RLCS and do you have? Is there anybody in the community that you've either competed against, or maybe you haven't gotten the opportunity yet, but you want to, that you're just a really big fan of? You watch their content or anything like that. Also, is there any team that you like a lot?
I mean, someone who I probably would want to play against a lot. I wouldn't say like I'm really a fan, kind of a friend. You know what I mean? That is Scrub Killer. Like Scrub Killer, I'd love to play against that man, and like on an international LAN or something. But yeah, that's probably the only person, honestly, who I actually like would want to play. But like team wise, I don't know. I don't really have a favorite team. Kind of our team. You know what I mean? I like our team.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Let's see. I haven't heard the name Scrub Kill in a while. I don't want to like. I'm not gonna say like
Scrub.
I'm not gonna say he's past his prime, but I definitely used to hear his name way more than I do right now.
Well,
I'm sure,
it's because he used to play for Vitality and now he no longer does. So.
I'm sure it'll only take one or two clips from a LAN tournament, and he'll be back in the back all over Twitter. But so Scrub Killer. That's crazy. Is there any? Oh man, I had something on my head. I don't want to lose it. Oh man. Oh, I got it. So also the same kind of question, but was there anybody while you were grinding and working your way up through the ranks that you saw? Was there any time that you played someone that you were like that set it off in your head like, okay, I'm at this level now? For example, I watch like you said Jazer. I watch Jazer all the time, every video that's uploaded. So Jazer doesn't really compete. He's a sub for NRG, right? Do you know?
He's a content creator for NRG.
Okay. So let's say Scrub, for example. You're watching Scrub while you're going up through the ranks, and then you get into a game competing in a tournament against Scrub. Was there anyone like that you were like, wow, I made it?
Not really like that, but it was kind of like, I feel like when you made it, like that you're able to make it at least, is when you like, for me it was kind of like you're just playing ranked, you know what I mean? And then you get to the point to where like you're playing pros like in ranked, like it's nothing, you know what I mean? Like you're just playing them every single game, and then it gets to the point where it's like, oh, okay, well now I feel like I'm better, than pros. Like I always tell people that becoming a pro, right, is not, it's harder to get to pro level even having the skills than it is to just get the skills. Like getting the skills to become a pro is the easy part. Actually getting to that point is the hard part. So yeah,
I feel you. I like it's crazy. It's cool to me that, I mean, I'm sure it has to be cool to you that you're playing against names like J Naps, Rizzo, Chicago just yesterday. You can't tell me like those weren't names coming up. Like Rizzo especially has been there since early RLCS days. Like there's nothing that doesn't spark it at all. Like, was there ever anybody you like not fangirled, but you know what I'm talking about?
I mean,
I'd be like, there's got to be someone.
I mean, probably when last season in RLCS, where it was like, we're playing on the main stream, first match, and it's like, you just can like, you hear the casters that you've never gotten to like be under, like the big caster, the S tier casters who are casting your game. It's honestly probably the casters, really. Like it was just like, wow, like I'm actually being casted in this league. Like I've been grinding for this. Like that's probably more like these players like I've been playing with, like even if I wasn't pro, like with and against since like years before. Like even like that's what I mean by it's like harder to get there. You know what I mean? Like I've been playing against these guys and with these guys in comms or whatever for years before I even made it. So it's probably the casters, to be honest.
Definitely. Go ahead.
When you say hearing the casters and everything, do you mean like during the game? Do you hear the casters, or are you talking like after you go and review your gameplay and stuff?
After like when
Okay.
I watch back the VOD or before a game, maybe I'm just sitting there like on the stream, like before, like they're talking about what we're about to do, and then I don't listen to it when we play, but just being able to like after, yeah.
Can you hear them through your headset at LAN?
Kind of depends. Yeah, sometimes it depends the headset. Like the last LAN I went to in Montreal when I was on stage, like honestly, sometimes you get confused with the crowd and the crowd in game. I remember the other team scored like a 0-second goal, and I remember just hearing yelling, but I couldn't tell if it was like the crowd or like the game. But yeah, like I heard, you can sometimes hear the casters.
That's crazy.
Gotcha.
It seems so loud on the stream. Like I feel like they echo through the thing, but I guess not. It's little things. I don't know. Go ahead, Z.
So, I know that it's like a really debated topic. I've heard Justin talk about it multiple times because I'm pretty sure that he likes to listen to music while he's like at LAN and everything, where he has like the earbuds underneath like his main headset and everything. And like one of the big reasons why I guess that they aren't a huge fan of people doing that is mostly because you won't be able to hear your team. Um, what do you think about that? Like, I guess for me particularly, when I'm like going and playing a game where I like actually want to like focus and everything, like I can't listen to music. But I know that some people like you have to listen to music. So like what do you like, do you get like, say if you had a teammate that listened to music, would you think that they wouldn't really listen to you, or like would you get upset about that? Or
I mean, to be honest, I feel like a lot of people, if they listen to music, aren't really focusing on you anyway. Like I feel like it's just kind of like like at least my experiences with it, I feel like when you're putting on music, you have the intent to like focus on what you want to do and call out what you want others to hear you do. You know what I mean? Like they
Mhm.
want you to hear what they're gonna do, but you got to kind of watch them. Like that's just my experience with music. So I feel like I don't really expect someone to be listening to me if they're gonna have music on.
Yeah, gotcha. And sorry, I was just like literally thinking about that when you were talking about the casters and being able to hear them and everything.
Yeah.
But there was a question a while ago when Former was talking about like the fangirling thing. I wouldn't really necessarily say that, but like when you go when you're just playing and everything, like I know that a lot of people enjoy just going and playing by themselves when it's like just queuing up for ranked and everything.
Mhm.
Do you ever see yourself going and inviting certain pros to go and play outside of like the KCP roster with you?
Yeah, like play ranked like with me, like other
Yeah,
pros. Yeah, like all the time. I mean, it's kind of like it's really like the Rocket League scene I feel like is super different than like every scene in like any kind of esport. Like there really is no beef. Like
yeah,
genuinely. Like there really is no beef. Like there's some people who maybe don't really like each other, maybe you can see it publicly, but it's not like like a Scump and Crim type thing where they hate each other. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's not like one of those things. So yeah, like that's how it always is. Like, like every day there's, another pro queuing with another pro, or I'm queuing with another pro, or that's kind of just how
Gotcha.
it is.
So, like, out of I guess your list of pro player friends, who is your like favorite to just go and chill out with and have a good time outside of the KCP
Like
roster?
talk to them as well.
Yeah, just like hanging out, having a good time, playing some games, and so on and so forth.
Um it honestly depends on like the day or who it is, but I'd say like the person who like I talk to the most is probably my ex teammate, like Seabass. Like I probably
Gotcha.
talk to him like a lot. Like if I'm not doing anything, like I'll go talk to him.
Does he
But
compete for anybody right now?
yeah, he plays for 72 PC with Jacob and Ty Not Tyler.
Okay. But
Gotcha.
you want me to take it, Z?
Yeah, I had a question and I totally like just went out my head. I don't know.
So playing at this high rank takes practice, a lot of practice. How often do you gather with the team, the KCP boys, to practice for said situations?
We practice probably like, I mean, there's like multiple different types of practice. Like there's a practice by yourself, you know what I mean? Just like playing ranked, focusing on maybe things you want to improve on, like training, free play.
Yep.
And then there's the scrims that are like, it really depends what, there's usually like 2 scrims a day, no matter what, around like, like 6, 7, 8, 9, like around that time, like 2 hours, no matter what. Like every team does like 2 hours of scrims, really, no matter what. And then usually, if you want that extra practice, you'll do like 2 or 3 scrims, which all scrims last for an hour. So it's like you'll scrim a team from 6 to 7, and then you'll have one from like 7 to 8, or you'll have like 6, 7, 8, or like what I mean. You might have an hour between, or depend. It really depends what type of team you are. And I know G2's the team that really does 3 days, but no one does 4. It's only really 3 because 3's a lot. To play 3 hours straight, mind completely focused. Like, yeah, so probably just three scrims. That's how we practice.
That's crazy. So I assume you scrim the people you're playing in RLCS, like the other teams that compete, or do you
Yeah.
where do you find this scrims? Is there like a Discord you're all a part of, or like how do you get in contact and like we're gonna scrim these people today? I'm curious.
Managers. So we have a manager, and like every other top RLCS team has a manager.
Okay.
And he basically like, it's like, I guess, a known thing with managers to schedule it up on the Thursday the week before. So like I'll usually know like our full week of scrims like before next week. Like at like Thursday I'll know like who we're scrimming and what time next week.
It's weird to hear like manager, like it's really that, like it's crazy to think like there comes a point where it's like that professional. I love that. I love the nature of it. I really do. It's wild. I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to compete. You know what I'm saying? But like you got to be insane. You don't even have to be insane. You got to have, like you said, you got to find that team that you just like you're always playing with and you have that charisma with. But like it's different when you don't have people to play.
Yeah. You gotta be dedicated.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead, Z.
I'm gonna take a break from the whole esports thing because I feel like we've been battering you with that. So obviously Epic Games went and not took over Psyonix, but you know what I mean. Like it owned Psyonix now, I guess is the correct way of saying it. Do you think that this was like a good move, or do you think that the changes that are being made and everything are affecting the Rocket League community?
Yeah.
Like in negative way, I guess.
No, like this is the like best thing it could have possibly happened. Like Rocket League is like in general is like just hitting crazy numbers on stream and in game. Like they literally passed CS:GO and in current in game players when it first came out. Like 3 to 4 million or something players were online at once, and like now its average is like, ever since Epic made this game like go free to play, it has went from an average of like 150 like or probably 200,000 players on, usually probably average, to now averages like 1 million. It was probably the best thing. Like there's way more funding as well. Like there's so much more money going into this season than probably any other season. So Epic Games joining and giving them the funding to really do whatever they wanted was like perfect. Like I could see, Rocket League being franchised within the next year, in 2020, probably like 2022 or 2021, like in that year range. Like it'll probably be franchised by then. But yeah, no, it was perfect that they came in. They came in at the right time too.
Are you like super excited to see all of like the rising teams that are going to be coming out of this whole new wave? Because obviously there's going to be tons of people that are grinding the game, especially with it being free, and like you said, millions of players playing it. Like, are you super excited to see more and more teams like come into the competitive environment from like this whole wave?
Yeah, like I think this is like perfect for competitive because it was 10 times harder with the other format to get out, because it really took, you had one game a weekend for like 5 weeks, and if you do bad in 2 of them, your season's over and you have to play the rest of 3 and knowing that you can't make it, right? So this format like gives you constant chances to be a top team with the new tournament format, where you have to actually be good to get your points now. It's not like, oh, like there's a lot of pros that were just in the pro scene because it's like, well, you're just playing the best every single day. No, you don't have any fear that someone's going to come up and take your spot or beat you, because only 2 teams can come up every 6 months. So it's like, it's really nothing to worry about. And it's like, it was pretty hard to get to that level, because if you're playing people below you all the time and you never really get a chance to play the best in the game, it's like, how are you going to be able to push yourself further? But this format, there's going to be a lot of new pros. I mean, it's starting to even turn like that now, that if with that old format, they would never even been who knows if they would have even been a pro. So
yeah,
no, it's perfect how they're doing it.
It's awesome. What's your number one favorite thing about competing? Number one
Um,
like thing that sticks out to you that you can't get enough of.
um, probably. I don't know, winning. I don't know. Like I just like winning. I don't know. I just like winning is fun and losing is not. So being able to like push to be able to win every single time is probably the most fun of competing, and especially being able to do it at such a high level where like every single win and every single loss matters. So it only makes it more competitive, you know, like just one single loss could, put you from, third place in the rankings to ninth, so
Yeah.
it just winning is definitely.
Are you to the point where you're no longer nervous when you go into a game or when you're going to compete, whether it be at LAN or due to Corona not at LAN, but like when you're going to compete on the main, as you call it, the main screen for Twitch, right? The main Rocket League stream. Do your nerves still get shot when you're being casted, or have you gotten to the point where it's just another game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm at that point, like to where it just doesn't really affect me. Like I already know kind of, what to expect, what to do. Like I'm not really ever nervous, but I feel like it's impossible to not be nervous sometimes, It's really just I think what makes you a good pro is how you deal with it and how you, respond to it and play with it. Like I feel like a lot of pros, like, your game 7 in the finals, you know what I mean? Like for 30 grand, you're gonna be a little bit anxious or nervous.
Yeah.
For me, I'd say it's not really, I wouldn't say it's really nerves, probably anxiousness, like to get into the next game, like, oh, what's about to happen. But yeah, I feel like it's all about how you deal with it. But no, like I'm never really, I've gotten past that point,
Yep.
being nervous.
I feel you. Z, go ahead, brother.
Do you now with like the whole like nervousness and everything, because like you said, you're going past that now. Do you think that has something to do with the fact that you're kind of getting used to the fact that you're playing these same players over and over again, so you kind of know what to expect with like their play styles and stuff like that?
Um, I think, I mean, like I said, like earlier on, like I've been playing these players for like forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe not in like a team v team type setting, but like just individually, maybe 2v2, 3v3 ranked, like six mans, stuff like that for forever. So what really I think is like self confidence, like knowing how good you are individually.
Hmm.
So you're not really nervous about the outcome because like I'm just gonna go in the game. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go in the game and play my best, right?
Hmm.
And nerves kind of go away once you start thinking like that. I feel like nerves are only for people who are like, okay, I do not want to throw this game. I do not want to play bad. Like it's like kind of once you get that mindset of like, okay, I'm good enough. I know what I can do. I'm gonna go in there and do it. You kind of lose that, the nervousness.
Gotcha.
This is a good question. I wanted to save it until later on until you're delved in. When it comes to Rocket League, a new player, not a new player. I'm not talking like brand new, just started yesterday, but let's say he's been grinding, just hit Diamond 2. Okay, we'll call it myself.
Is this personal? I was about to say, is this a personal story?
it originally wasn't, but we can make it for communication purposes, right? 3 most important tips when it comes to Rocket League: how to improve your game, how to improve your gameplay, and how to break that barrier from, let's say, me personally, I'm stuck at like Diamond 2, Diamond 3. I Champ 1 like is what I got last time, but it was bare lucky, and I would thank my teammates. How do you break through that barrier? What are the 3 tips that's going to help you compete, play better, play with your team, play, you know what I mean, personal plays, mindset going into a game? Have at it, dude.
um, I'm gonna do not in any order from like the best to worst, but so one tip would definitely be mechanics, like just having good mechanics, like grinding your mechanics. The second one would be mentality. I feel like there's so many people who come into my chat or talk to me or ask me for advice, and they're like, "Oh, why can't I improve?" Like that right there is already the wrong mentality of wondering why you just have to keep going and going and going. Everyone who's like in the pro scene now, definitely when they were coming up, just sat and grinded. Like I can't even remember how many hours I sat there all day, just like trying to learn something. Like a lot of people, especially like trying to become pro, have very like to not be mean, but like weaker mindsets, like on how to like get better. Like I've always thought about it as like, okay, I'm going to grind. I don't care what is going on over here, over here, over here. I'm just going to put my mind straight to that one thing and grind it until it works. And I see it works. It's like, so that would probably be the second one. It's mentality, having a good mentality. Honestly, the last one is mentality as well, but in a different way. Taking losses better. Like, I feel like once I started to, like in the very beginning of playing Rocket League, not even beginning, just like getting up, like probably like to where like, I was playing ranked or something and like I'd lose and I'd be like, I'm so mad that I lost, right? Like I'm tilted, like why did I lose this? I shouldn't have lost. But once I started to no longer get mad about the loss, but think of why I lost. Like, okay, let me look at why I just lost this. Like I used to play ones and I get a guy who I know is, like maybe this is like 2 years ago. Maybe I know he's not as good as me, but I lost, right? I'd be like, how did I just lose to him? Like he's so bad. Like I don't know why I just lost to him. But then, once switching that mindset into like, oh my God, why did I give him this goal? Like I shouldn't have done that. Like, that complete change in mindset will like instantly you'll see an improvement with like, oh shoot, like I can actually get good at this, right? Instead of being like playing two, someone's like, ah, like I just solo queue is just so bad. Like, I mean, to be honest, it's not. It is pretty bad, but like it's like the mindset of like, getting out of it and it has to be like, okay, like you might can understand that your teammate isn't the best, but like putting it as in, oh, I can't rank up because of my teammate is like the thing that I hear a lot of people say over and over again, like, I just can't win because I'm solo queuing. Well, I mean, you got to think about, okay, how are people, who solo queued in, champ and you were in diamond? You know what I mean? Like, it's possible. You just have to have the right mindset to it and mentality for it.
Gotcha. Yeah. Going off of that, like, if I guess if you literally spend any time in anybody's chat, that's a professional player. They harp on ones constantly, and do you think it comes from that aspect where like everything that you do in the game, if you're playing ones, like directly impacts you, and that's like the reason why they go and reference playing ones so much, or like is there a true reason as to why everyone constantly says, "Oh, go and play ones and you'll get better. If you keep grinding ones, you'll learn how to do this and that like better." Is it truly because of ones, or is it just because everything relies on you?
I mean, I got better from playing ones, but it was mainly because I feel like I mean, it does mainly rely on you and it teaches you how to be smarter individually.
Mhm.
But I feel like it also has a lot of pluses like mentality. Like you learn how to lose because in ones, you're going to lose. Like you're going to build up a confidence and you're going to lose to someone that that you should have never lost to, especially when you get better at ones. But I definitely do. Ones is the easiest thing because it's like someone who plays threes and only threes, like they come up just playing threes, they're going to be worse than someone who plays ones, only ones, because they might have better rotation, but their mechanics won't be as good because your mechanics solely rely on you. Like every single,
Mhm.
Mistake causes a goal. Like one thing that was nerve wracking, I'd say, is ones. Like playing ones tournaments, because I used to be a ones player back in the day. Like one mistake caused a goal. Like bad kickoff goal could be over. Like it's so much
Mhm.
like it relies on every tiny little thing that you do. Like you make one mistake, cause a goal, you lose the game. GG's. Like that's why I think ones is so good for that. It teaches you how to really play as an individual. So then when you go to other categories, it's like you're good enough individually to keep ranking up. Like I usually tell people that like being smart doesn't really matter until you get to like, you know, GC levels, like really you don't have to be smart if you're just good individually, then you learn, then that's what I did. I feel like that's what a lot of mechanical players did. They got super good individually, didn't really know how to think about the game, but then once you got to the point where you actually had to be smart and you can't get away with like the things you do, that's when you start trying to learn it. I don't feel like learning like game smarts. So like when I coach people, because I coach on a website, I never go super in depth. Like I always kind of just leave it as like, all right, you want to you never want to give them super in-depth things. You kind of want to give them like the overall, the overall kind of answer, I guess. But yeah, no, it's like ones is definitely good for becoming your own individual player and getting good mechanics individually.
Gotcha.
Word up. See, go ahead again if you have another one.
Let's see. Do I have another one?
I got you.
I feel like. Oh well, actually, well, it's not so much related to what we were talking about, but like going back to how I was telling you, kind of formed this question a little bit based off of what you were recently talking about, in your stream and everything, and like you were talking about how you say you give like an amazing pinpoint pass, and literally all the person has to do is just tap it in for it to be a goal, like on the main stage and everything. Usually the casters kind of focus more on the goal than on the pass most of the time, not all the time. I mean, if it's an insane pass, then they focus on the pass more. Do you feel as though there has ever been a point in time where like, yeah, you guys come away with the win and all of that, but you kind of feel like underappreciated after it because like you tried so hard and did so much for the team and everything. Like obviously I know team game, everything that the entire team does really makes the impact and everything for the main game. But do you feel like is it very common to, I guess, be underappreciated and undervalued when it comes to the competitive stage?
I mean, for me, like from my experience, I definitely do believe like I feel like every single team I've had to play a certain role, like always had to
Hmm.
play like that team player role. Like I always had to do the most that came in like for the team. Like I was never the one that just be able to do whatever they wanted, just like I said, I came up being a mechanical player, like just someone who was like super individually skilled, but I had to transition into being like a third man. Like I had to be like the rotational guy. And I feel like now it's kind of like they used to just call me a ones player. Like all the cast like I'd score a normal goal. It's because I was a ones player, right? So then I kind of like hated that stigma because it was like kind of a bad thing. It's like, well, I'm literally doing all this on defense. Why are you like saying I'm a ones player? You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
when I did everything like as a team. So then I kind of just completely stopped playing ones and try to get that stigma away. But I feel like casters like to go on like I don't know, storylines and stuff like that. So like with our team, it's like beast mode's 15 and he's a mechanical player, so like whatever goal he scores, it's going to be like mechanical. Even if it really isn't, it'll still be like put as that by casters. And memory was a third man or and a slash striker, so like if he scores a goal, it's just going to be like that. But I feel like I kind of like took away my, I guess, thing that what people called me. So I feel like people don't really know where to put me. They kind of just see me there. Like I hit good shots. I do other things, but I don't really feel like someone is really taking the time to go in depth to really, because I just kind of do everything. You know what I mean? I kind of
Hmm.
play defense, play offense. So you can't really be like, all right, he does this, right? He's such a good this. It's because I just kind of do everything. So I feel like that's probably where where the me feeling like I underappreciated probably comes from, because I feel like maybe they don't really understand, what to really say. Like you can't really say, oh, I'm mainly a striker because, you'll see me on defense getting a whole bunch of saves, or, vice versa. So yeah, I definitely think it's easy to get underappreciated if you don't have a stigma around you. And I feel like that's probably created with time. And honestly, I feel like casters control a lot of the game and how it goes, like how
Yeah.
people think. Like casters will, if you don't really understand the game, right? Like meaning as in just at a high level, you're gonna assume what the caster's saying is correct. It's just how it is. You're just gonna
Yeah.
assume it because they're calling the game, right? They're saying what is happening. And a lot of the casters really don't understand the game that well, like at all. Like I mean, they're good at casting the game, but they actually don't know the game. So that's why there's so many stigmas around, like it's impossible to call who's the best player in the world, because the people who are actually the best players in the world don't actually get the credit as in like they should. You know what I mean? Like the actual best, the hardest people to
Hmm.
play against. Like for example, like a lot of people say it really is a hard. I mean, it's just a really hard thing to get as, because there's going to be multiple best players in the world, because even who
Depending,
maybe
yeah.
not be the best player in the world, and it's just kind of dictated by the casters and the storylines they give them. So
Gosh.
I'm
So
gonna bounce off of what you just said. Sorry, Z. I don't want to lose this train of thought.
no, you're good.
Is
Go
there
for it.
any so okay? I'm a fan of Logic, right? Like music wise, and he's got a line. It's called the greatest. It's something he said. The greatest rapper alive is probably stacking produce. So it's kind of like, in other words, like the greatest person to ever play has either A, not been not been found yet, or B, not honing that skill, right? Is there anyone in the game, like you just said, who might not be getting that credit? People might think, Justin's the best, or Squishy's the best, or so on and so forth. But is there anybody that behind the scenes is going above and beyond for not only their team but for their own personal gameplay that doesn't necessarily get what they may deserve?
Oh, 100%. Like, I feel like some of the people who are called, the best players in the world, at least, playing against them, their teammates are harder to play against. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of weird how it works. Like SSG, for example, like, Sypical, right? He's called one of the best players in NA. And don't get me wrong, he's an insane player. You know what I mean? Like, he's cracked. He's a very, 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 very good individual player. But when I play them, and when we play them, or like the person who's hardest to play against is Arsenal. You know what I mean? On that team, like, he's gonna make it the hardest for you. Like, when you go into the game, you're really not like, I mean, Typical, yeah, he can score goals and he can save the ball, but Arsenal's the one who's making it kind of happen. Like, he's the guy who's like, you got to worry about. You're not going to be worried about Typical starting anything. He's going to finish it. He's going to score nice goals. He's going to save the ball. He's going to pass, but he's not going to be the guy who's actually like making it happen so he can do that. It's kind of like, I feel like Sypico is one of those players, and there's a lot of players like this actually who if their teammates aren't playing really well, they're not going to be able to do anything either. Like, meaning as in, if Arsenal or Red Bulls aren't doing their job well, he's not going to be able to do anything, because what can he do, right? So that's kind of my thing about it, is that I feel like there's a lot of players, especially in NA, who are probably harder to play against, and make it super hard, but don't get any credit as to be that, as being that good player, because it's not things that are recognized on stream. It's not things that are given credit for on stream. Like, you get credit for goals, assists, saves. You really don't see too many people getting credit for doing the things that aren't that, which is like, cutting off passes, a lot, like all those like super individual things that you never really see those people get credit for. Or like, you never really see the person who started the play get credit. You see the person who, like, that first person could have made the opened up the whole entire field so that person could give a pass, right? But you only see, the casters will only talk about the person who gave the pass and the person who got the shot, not the person who gave the opening for that to happen. So that's where I feel like there's a lot of players in EU and NA who probably would be rated higher if casters actually thought like that, and then brought that into attention.
Word up.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like, just based off of, obviously, like, I don't have the in-depth knowledge like a lot of, well, like, for instance, you and a lot of other pro players. But like, I guess the easiest way for me to go and tie it back is like, I used to go and play soccer and everything, and like, the game itself, obviously we all understand really well. Um the coaches understand, so on and so forth. But like, the people that are commenting on the game and everything, just like commenter, or yeah. Wow, I just completely blanked. Anyway, so like, wow, I completely lost my train of thought.
You talk
Yeah, I
about
think you're talking about how like
Oh
like
my
your
god, that
team
was
knows
bad.
what's going on, like your team knows what, but the commentators like don't. Is that what you're going to talk about?
Yeah, but there was something there, and I completely lost it. All right, just scrap that. Okay, just get rid of that, dude. I have no idea where I was going with that. I had it in my head, and then I just like, I blanked when I hit the word commenter. I was like, "Yep," I just lost it completely. Oh no, I had such a good one too, and I know it was good, and I just completely lost it. Dude, I'm gonna like randomly get it like later on at night,
like,
and I'm
oh
gonna be like,
man.
"There it is."
All right. Well, do you have any other questions, Z, or you wanna?
I'm so mad.
All right,
Ah,
then we'll go ahead, we'll wrap here. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Listen, Rapid, I cannot stress to you how thankful we are that you took the time to come and hang out with us. I know you mentioned earlier you do coaching on a website. Is there anything you want to plug before we wrap it up? Or I'll put it in the description, and everybody that whatever he says here, you'll be able to find in the description for sure.
Just twitter.com/rapidrl.
Gotcha.
get to see all the Optimus Prime.
Yes,
Some
sir.
Mind Hive too.
Yeah. How do you know about that?
I know about it. Don't worry about it.
There's a lot of things.
Don't worry about that.
There's a lot of extensive research that went in before this, and I was like, maybe we won't talk about that. But like,
Hey, listen, I knew about Mind Hive
I'm talking about
when it first hit Twitter, dude.
I'm talking about from my point of view.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
There's a lot of things like, dude, we did our research, I promise.
Tried our best.
That's awesome. Like I said, thank you so much for your time, dude. I greatly appreciate it. Everybody watching this, his Twitter will be linked in the description. Would you like me to plug your coaching, the link to your coaching site?
Sure. It's gamersready.com, and then they can just scroll and find. I'm on like the list.
Awesome. All right. I had to make a note. All right. So, link to get coaching from Rapid of the Kansas City Pioneers. His Twitter will be down there. His team Twitter will be down there. The Kansas City Pioneers. You guys can all go check this out. As always, to check out the Eternal Customs link for the Stream Fiends merch, the hats. You see Z has a hat on. We greatly appreciate it. You saw me drinking the Rogue Energy earlier. Make sure you use code Fiends at checkout. And Cinch Gaming as well. I thank you. I can't thank you enough, man. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but it's awesome.
It was fun.
All right. It's been a pleasure. I hope everybody watching this learned something, took something from it, just had some enjoyment. Ta-ta.